What's going on, everybody? It's Gosei come back at you with another video, and in this one I want to review pro guides. Now, you see a lot of commercials on YouTube about how they can get you better in a certain amount of time with using their guides. What made me want to do this is that I saw a ton, and I mean a ton, of advertisements. Now, some of the top YouTubers that show little tips and tricks are getting sponsored by pro guides, so I wanted to see if it would be actually worth it. Of course, with this video, what I'm going to be discussing is my initial thoughts, impressions going through the courses, and then eventually I will have a conclusion for you guys, telling you whether I think that it is worth it or not. So, my initial thoughts to start off. I was a little sketchy about it just because it sounded a little bit too good to be true. They have you put in your KD before you get started, and then they tell you what they predict it will be in 6 months, and in most cases it is a pretty big jump. So just trying it out, I put in like a 0.5 KD, it jumped up to 3. So in some cases, if someone really wants to play the game a lot and tries to practice the right things, this is very possible. So moving on to the second one, I haven't seen many reviews on it on YouTube. Just a lot of advertisements. I saw one review on it, and it was basically this kid saying that, oh, he doesn't know if it's really that good, and he kind of didn't really like it. But it was only one review. So with that said, I was still excited to try to use it. And the reason that I say that is because they got a course from Mongrel and Benji Fishy, and I was ecstatic to try to see if those courses were even worth it or how good they were, seeing that those two players are some of the best in the world. So my impressions when going through most of the courses. Now, just a little disclaimer, I did not go through every single course because some of them were extremely basic and I just didn't feel the need to go through that. I wanted to go through the ones that I thought would be worth it when purchasing this program. So firstly, let's talk about how to get started on the website. One thing I do appreciate is that they give some of the courses away for free, and some of them can be earned by completing other courses and earning enough points to unlock them. Other courses that are considered advanced will cost money, and when advertising how much the pro version will cost in order to unlock those advanced courses, they will give you a monthly rate in big lettering. Now, be careful of this, because they do tell you the actual rate in smaller lettering, which is $60. They advertise $5 per month, which is just not true. You cannot use just 2 months, pay $10 and be done with it. You have to pay for a whole year, which is $60. And that is a little bit misleading at first, unless you're really paying attention. If you just look at the big bold lettering, it says $5 per month. That is not true. It is $60. Now, with that said, I do understand why they put the monthly rate rather than just the whole year in big bold lettering instead of in smaller lettering. And the reason is because when you look at $5 per month compared to $60 per year, it does seem cheaper and more affordable seeing the $5 rather than the $60. So as far as marketing, you can't really get mad at them for that. You as a consumer just gotta pay attention, and I'm telling you what to look for and to pay attention to that. Now, when getting into the actual site, there's a good amount of information that could be very useful. For instance, their secret building techniques section, some of it is good stuff to learn, but some of it has gone patched by now, which is unfortunate and leads on to one thing that I do not necessarily like about this site. They do have programs that have already been patched and thus are not useful anymore. They don't seem to, at least in my experience, they don't seem to update as frequently as they should. Or, to be honest with you, it almost looks like they don't update at all. They kind of put all these videos on the site, and then they'll come out with new videos. What I wish they would do is put out these videos up on the site, and then basically update these videos as time goes on. Take down the ones that aren't useful anymore, put up ones that are useful, maybe even revamp the videos so that if it still works from season to season, you have the new season in the video, so it looks up to date and ready to use. So they do tell you what season a couple of their courses were made in, but all of those were made 2 to 3 seasons ago. So again, I think there needs to be an update. Now, what has become quite obvious to me is that they are geared towards new players, all of their courses. A lot of these tips and tricks are either extremely obvious or beginner level, and in some cases are easy to counter by players who aren't outright new to the game. For instance, their newest guide at the time of this video that they put out is about utilities. They say that they are advanced tips and that 99% of the players won't know them, when in reality it's probably closer to tips that 99% of players do know, if they play the game for any sort of time at all. And I'm talking about just more than a week. These tips include that stinks deal damage so you can use them to manipulate your opponent's movement. Shadow bombs will allow you to jump up a mountain, but won't let you shoot or build. If you place a turret under a ramp, then the ramp will break. All of these tips are ones that most people should already know just from playing the game. Lastly, for my impressions while going through the guides, and the most important one to keep in mind in my opinion, they don't update their material very fast. Just reiterating what I've already said, but it is very true. Some of the guns and even locations on the map they refer to haven't been in the game for a few seasons. This can be understandable for a few videos due to Fortnite constantly changing the gameplay in their patches and changing the meta, but a lot of their videos are just out of date by a large margin. And when I say a few seasons, some of their videos are from season 5, season 4, some maybe even from season 3 from what it looks like. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that some of their videos are extremely useful. Some of their videos, when using like especially the secret building techniques, some of them are useful, but it is very few videos. Most of them are not useful if you play the game at all. Some of their pro player tips, Mongrel and Benji Fishy, are up to date. Some of the other tips given by some of the other pro players are just not up to date anymore. They are a few seasons past, they're not useful. So in conclusion, and it does pain me to say this because I wanted this program to work and I wanted it to be good because I think that they are doing a good thing by providing this service, it is a waste of $60. They teach some really basic things that most casual players already know, and it is hard to think that someone who doesn't know anything about the game would spend this amount of money right off the bat. But it does seem to be who they are catering towards in their videos. Some of their tips and tricks just aren't useful, and against good players will get you killed, such as one where one of their tips is to place a floor and phase through it. But even in the video, the person that is showing you how to do it is completely exposed from either the sides or from the top. It only really works if someone is directly following you. But the guy is saying that it works even if the player is above you. It doesn't make much sense even when you're looking at the tutorial. All of the good tips and tricks that were taught can be found all over the place on YouTube. And to be quite honest, they can be found by people who will teach it even better. And not trying to take any jabs at any of the players that are working for pro guides and that are making these videos, but a lot of the players that are on YouTube showing all these tips and tricks are just better players. They show you better, they teach you better, they show you in-game, and then on top of that, it's for free. And so just to reiterate that, most of these tips and tricks you can find for free on YouTube. And just so I'm not leaving you guys hanging with where to find these, you can go to YouTube channels such as It's Jarian, CypherPK, That Denver Guy, Gronky, The Gamer Couple. There's a ton of them, and I will link those channels that I just said in the description below. I mean, but even proguides' YouTube channel is better because it is up to date. They're constantly pushing out content, and it's free. Now, just to finish this off, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they don't have any useful tips and that pro players who put tips up on there aren't good. What I am saying is that overall the tips are very basic, and even the tips that are advanced in any way can be found for free somewhere else. It just quite frankly isn't worth $60. Maybe if it was between $5 and $15, maybe they're worth it. Now, to really new players who have a lot of money, which I don't think that they do most of the time, because a lot of very new players at this point are probably kids, then if you have the money, maybe it's worth it for you if you have not played the game at all, or maybe you've played like 3 matches. Other than that, it is so much more worth it to just go on YouTube, look up any of those channels, or just look up any tips or tricks videos, and they will be for free and often taught better. I don't believe that proguides is worth it, at least the online version. I 100% recommend their YouTube channel, just not their site. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more videos similar to this. I also do Fortnite videos and weekly challenges on Fortnite. And if you want to see more videos like this, me doing reviews about different things having to do with Fortnite, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you all have a great day.